I'm freaking it out. Cause I was trying to touch it, I was peeping it out. She turned around and was trying to put my dick in the mouth. I let her.
He took aim at the leader who was provoking the crowd from behind. A bullet pierced through the leader's head, causing a spray of blood that splattered onto the bystanders. The leader collapsed, and his cold voice echoed, "I have limited bullets, but each of you has only one life." The lone manager had died to the heat, dehydration, and a gunshot wound. His brother's eyes blazed with fury as he blaming delivery boy for his brother's death. He promised his brother he'd take his revenge. The crowd retreated to the lobby, their spirits crushed. Only the gold digger and her friend remained. She offered herself to the protagonist in exchange for shelter. Her friend also offered same thing. He responded with a cold laugh, inviting her in. Both girls was feeling sigh of relief. However, suddenly her best friend rushed in, blaming the delivery boy for his brother's death and threatening to kill him. He hit him by swinging a baseball bat, sending him flying and warning that anyone who entered his room would meet the same fate. The gold digger and her friend, frightened by the sight of their unconscious companion, reconsidered their decision to enter the room. They reasoned that it might be safer outside. He warned them to leave or risk death. Then they all leave in hurry. Suddenly, the roar of engines filled the air. Modified vehicles with heat-insulated windows pulled up, and people clad in fireproof suits and armed with guns come up. They announced themselves as a rescue team and instructed everyone to step back. They asked the senior to put on a heat-resistant suit and follow them. The crowd questioning the team shouldn't they rescued everyone. Then team assured them that a government rescue operation was underway and advised everyone to head to Silicon Valley Square for safety at midnight, the coldest time of the day. This news sparked a wave of excitement among the crowd. The boss, excited by the news of the government rescue operation, drew the crowd's attention and shouted towards the soldiers, offering them 1 billion yuan for his rescue. However, the soldiers ignored him. Enraged, the boss attempted to grab a soldier's collar, but the soldier swiftly grabbed his arm and scolded him for obstructing their work. The boss got mad to such treatment. He turned to his assistant with slicked back hair and abused him for his inability to procure a heat-resistant suit. The other soldiers remained alert, their guns pointed on the crowd. As the rescue soldiers prepared to leave, the gold digger ran up to a soldier, pleading for help against a dangerous person residing upstairs. Her friend supported her story, adding that the dangerous person was armed and had already harmed several people. They accused him of nearly harassing them and requested the soldier to stop the dangerous person from escaping. The soldier was taken aback by this unexpected revelation and decided to stay behind to investigate. He handed his heat-resistant suit to his comrade and prepared to ascend the stairs, gun in hand. As he cautiously climbed the stairs, he noticed a hidden camera. He realized that the only way to power the cameras in a city without electricity was with a battery. As he looked at the door, it suddenly swung open, and an object was thrown up on him. The object was a stun grenade. He closed his eyes too late to avoid the flash. As he tried to recover, he heard the hiss of gas being released. Recognizing the sound of tear gas, he covered his nose and closed his eyes. As he tried to find the exit, he felt a strong blow to his head. When he regained consciousness, he found himself tied up and felt a cool sensation on his body. He opened his eyes to see a guy checking his gun. The guy confirmed his identity as a member of the Army Infantry Brigade's Special Force. The soldier questioned the man about his identity and the source of his weapons. The man revealed that he was a recent graduate and inquired about the government's rescue plans. The soldier was taken aback by his knowledge. Soldier confirmed his information and wanted one last chance to advise people to wrap up in thick blankets or heavy coats before traveling at night to avoid exposure to the sun. The soldier wanted that as a last wish before his death. He remembered in his last life, no one tell him about that. So he untied the soldier and warned him not to challenge him again. The soldier asked him, wasn't he afraid that he would come back to take revenge on him? To which the man pointed upwards. Soldier was shocked to see advanced level robotic guns with facial recognition cameras. He revealed that he had obtained them from the Middle East and warned the soldier that anyone in the room, except for him, would not survive once the guns were activated. Soldier left the room without another word. When he was coming back, someone noticed that his gun was missing. The boss's face turned red with anger, and he discharged his frustration on his assistant with slicked back hair. His companion questioned him how long they had to endure the boss's cruelty. The assistant, with slicked back hair, hair reminded him of the importance of the boss's connections once situation was restored. At that moment, he walked over and asked them for following orders in Apocalypse. Underling lost his temper and threatened to kill him, but the slicked-back-haired quickly interfered. He revealed that he had come downstairs to make a deal with him. He poured out a bucket of ice, leaving the two men stunned. They fantasized about killing him and taking over his room. He pulled out a submachine gun and held it under the underling's chin, causing slicked-back hair to quickly defuse the situation. He makes a proposal, asking them to prevent the gold digger, her friend, and the golden-haired guy from reaching the rescue shelter. After the deal, the two men tasted a piece of ice. Suddenly, Boss came and slapped on slicked-back hair and warned him not to hide any good stuff. Otherwise, he would be dead meat. After his boss taking all the ice, that makes silked-back-haired mad. Then Boss turned to the head chef. In this scorching heat, head chef's dress were soaked with sweat, which attracted the attention of the boss. He asked her to come to his bedroom. He was in a mood to play with her. Boss tried to take her with him by force, so she slapped the boss hard on the face. In response, the boss ripped her shirt and wanted to play there. She had barely managed to cover her body with pieces of her shirt. Silked back hair had lost his control. Boss abuses him, wanted to show him his right place. In response to which he punched the boss hard on the neck. After defeating him, he declared himself the leader, warning the others goes to rescue point or die here. It's their choice. Everything was according to his plans. In his past life, slicked back hair's opportunity came when he became the leader. But he wasn't sure if he would have a chance when the slicked back hair became the leader ahead of time. The gold digger and her friend looked curiously at silked back hair and the jug in his hand. Although there was no ice in it, in that chaotic situation, even a drop of ice water could make people do anything. Silked back hair tells them that if they want ice water, they have to do whatever he wants. The gold digger and her friends were willing to do anything to taste the ice water. At first he was reluctant, but remembering the protagonist's words, he felt obliged to do so. He threw the jug towards the gold digger, who happily took it and tried to put the water in her mouth. Her friend begged her to taste a drop of the water. They were limited supplies, but he continued to provide for both of them. His companion wanted to know about it. He told him about the protagonist and his agreement. Well, in such a situation, he also needs some people like them. Since it was the first night, hotel guests wrapped themselves in blankets to protect themselves from the direct moonlight and heat. It had become very difficult for the hotel guests to survive inside the hotel, as silked back hair and his companions had taken over the resources. The rescue point was their last ray of hope. As people came out of the hotel wrapped in blankets, the harsh reality of their situation began to set in. Staying inside the hotel meant dying of thirst, while going to the rescue point was like a last chance to survive. However, the heat outside was much more intense than expected. An old woman stumbled and fell to the ground. Her flesh stuck to the ground as soon as she came in contact with the ground, and when she tried to stand up, her flesh was torn off her body. In such a dire situation, survival was uncertain, and caring for others was a luxury that few could afford. The gold digger and her friend, wrapped in a blanket, were also waiting to leave from here. But companion does not let her intentions succeed. He starts throwing the gold digger's blanket and start tearing her clothes. He reminds them of the promise they made to their leader. Then the gold digger agreed to fulfill his wish, but she wanted to work in the room instead of the open lobby. Her friend also agreed with the gold digger. Companion wanted to know why these slutty girls were hesitating, because there was no one here except them. Were they hesitating because of the ghosts? On the other side, when the morning sunlight fell on the two corpses at the hotel entrance, their bodies started shaking. They were transforming into demons under the scorching sunlight. He was familiar with these creatures from his past life, but back then, no one dared to confront them. At the hotel lobby, no one realized what changes had occurred until they saw the two half-dried corpses entering the room by breaking the glass door. The sight of the creatures stunned everyone. The man with slicked-back hair pushed the man with golden hair toward the creatures, the high temperature emitted by the zombies roasting the man with golden hair alive. At that very moment, the protagonist arrived. They looked at him in astonishment. When the guy came to kill the creatures, the man with slicked-back hair made a plan and shared it with his companion. He decided that once the protagonist had dealt with the zombie threat, they would then take action against him and kill him. In this apocalypse, sunlight transforms dead bodies into creatures that do not spread the virus, so he called them drought demons. In his past life, the man with slicked back hair killed this person, which made him the first drought demon driven by the desire for revenge against the man with slicked back hair. He didn't hesitate at this moment and charged directly at the drought demon. He swung his sword and slashed the drought demon's head. Suddenly, a crystal core popped out of the drought demon's head. This was the crystal core that could transform a human into a superhuman. The protagonist took possession of the crystal core without anyone noticing, leaped into the air, kicked the lone manager drought demon into the crowd, and went to his room telling them to deal with it on their own. The man with slicked back hair quickly completed the transaction, grabbed the man with golden hair, who was overwhelmed by the heat, and threw him at the drought demon. He used him as a shield. While they were engaged in battle with the drought demon, he retreated to his cold room. There, he placed a crystal core into a glass and filled it with colorful juice. This crystal was a rarity not easily found in the skulls of drought demons and mutant beasts. The method of consuming the crystal core was different. First cleaned it, then swallowed it whole, much like one would with medicine. He swallowed the crystal in one breath. The moment the crystal core was swallowed, its energy began to merge with his body. His eyes lit up with a red glow. Power surged through his veins, and he was surrounded by a formidable force. His abilities began to grow immensely. His speed increased significantly, and his resistance to heat improved greatly. When he touched a large ice block with a fraction of his new power, it shattered into pieces. At the same time, his physical strength also increased tremendously, yet he was unable to test his physical strength as he was alone. If you know the reason, then tell me in comment box. Meanwhile, the man with slicked back hair and his team had finally defeated the drought demon, but their victory came at the cost of all their drinking water. Now they didn't have a single drop left. When the water ran out, the gold digger's friend tried to reach the rescue point unnoticed. She was caught by Companion, who sternly warned her that he would chop off her legs if she tried to escape. She stressed the urgent need for water to avoid death and pleaded for understanding. She claimed to know the solution to their problem. In exchange for her freedom, she offered to share crucial information about the protagonist. He agreed, but also warned her that if she tricked him, he would kill her immediately. Gold Digger's friend revealed the protagonist and Gold Digger's relationship. She suggested using the Gold Digger as bait at the protagonist's house, believing he might open the door and fall into their trap. The Companion agreed, thinking it was a clever idea. The Gold Digger was taken aback. She hadn't expected such betrayal from her friend in her time of need. She decided to cooperate, blaming the delivery boy for her current situation. Starving, she requested some meat before they got to work. However, Companion pointed out that the meat had spoiled due to the lack of electricity. Then a man with slicked back hair entered with horrible proposal. He questioned whether she was truly hungry for meat. He ordered his companions to seize the Gold Digger's friend and handed the Gold Digger a knife. It was a terrific moment. He signaled that she should eat her friend's flesh. First, she shocked. As the betrayal flashed through her mind, the Gold Digger glared at her friend with fury. She grabbed knife from his hand and approached her friend with the knife in hand. Her friend screamed and pleaded. She claimed they were like sisters and expressed her wish to flee, but felt powerless to do so. When the Gold Digger reached her, she coldly reminded her friend of her betrayal. Gripping the knife firmly, she stabbed her friend repeatedly. Her friend collapsed and her blood flowing on the floor. The Gold Digger laughed maniacally at the sight of the body. She swore to herself that after feasting, she would hunt the protagonist and compress her thirst with his blood. The man with slicked back hair ordered Companion to find a head chef to prepare the meal. He wanted to strengthen himself before confronting the protagonist. His companion reacted with horror. How can they eat a human? They're not monsters, he protested, but the man with slicked back hair insisted they had no choice. Without food and water, they would perish. He demanded obedience without question. The companion clenched his teeth in helpless anger, realizing he had no other choice. When Companion looked for Head Chef, he didn't find her anywhere, so he ordered his comrades to find her. But Head Chef left them when she saw they were planning to eat human flesh. Her last hope for survival was Protagonist, so she hurriedly went to the protagonist's doorstep. While testing his new powers, he got notification on his mobile. He saw through the CCTV Head Chef stand at his doorstep, then he opened the door for her, but he forgot to wear his clothes. Head Chef's eyes were down because she wanted to talk to him without eye contact, but Head Chef had seen something he had never seen before. Her eyes widened with surprise because she saw something big and heavy, which made her feel embarrassed. Then she called her scoundrel. He apologized for his behavior. After getting her in the room, he told her he have limited resources, and they only just met first time in person. He can't take her in the room because she is cute. Based on his previous life, Head Chef is a very strong-willed woman. She had a very cooperative behavior with slicked back haired, although he had considered subduing her. The atmosphere had become a little awkward due to the sudden meeting at the door. She saw by her own eyes how well equipped his room. It would not be wrong to call this room an ice shelter. She wanted to show him her true worth. It was the only way she could survive in this hot apocalypse. She then revealed that not only was she a chef, but she also had 3 years of experience as a surgeon. He wanted her to completely in his hands, because in his last life, she became the Hell's Chef. He told her that she was a doctor, was indeed tempting, but he had limited resources. She didn't want to leave his cold room, so she suddenly told that she could do whatever for him if he promised not to throw her out. Then a smile came on his face, because this is what he wanted from her. He said that from now on she could consider this as her home. Then she realized she had said something she shouldn't have. After that, he warned her if she has any secret plans or intentions that go against him, she will encounter severe and possible consequences as a result. She promised not to betray him at any cost. Then he ordered her to take off her clothes in front of him. She was shocked that she would have to serve him from now on, but he told her he just wanted to check to make sure she wasn't carrying any concealed weapons for safety reasons. Then he fed her something and promised her to fed her something different next time. But I'm also wondering what he just fed her. Do you guys know? Then tell me in the comment box. After she got the opportunity to shower, she felt grateful for the water, electricity, and the ability to take a shower without worrying about the scorching weather or being eaten by others. This place seemed like heaven to her, but she knows there's a big price to pay for this comfortable environment because the protagonist is not a saint. She had already thought about it before she came here, and there he is, peeking through his phone screen. By the way, he's not peeking because he wanted to see something, he just wanted to make sure she couldn't hide any weapons. She came out of the bathroom after taking a bath, but the dress he gave her to wear seemed tight. So she asked him, "Doesn't it look like small?" He said it's not small, it's the perfect size. Do you guys really think he was talking about the dress? You guys are very innocent. Let me know in the comment box if you think he was talking about the dress. Then suddenly he heard a knocking sound at his doorstep. Someone repeatedly knocking on his door. It was a Slicked Back Hair and his team. Slicked Back Hair warned him that if he didn't open the door, they would probably kill his fiancée and break his door. After hearing Slicked Back Hair's voice, the head chef suggested him not to open the door because they had already eaten human flesh. They would probably eat them if he opened the door. He was shocked when he heard that they had eaten human flesh, but finally he opened the door to give them a piece of advice. If they broke his door, he would be in trouble. But they didn't notice that he opened the door just to protect his door, not for that so-called fiancé they were using as a bait. When he opened the door, the gold digger began to cry for help. Slicked Back Hair and his team laughed because their plan worked. Their eyes were red and their veins bulged, making them look like some type of monsters. He had already hidden one comrade behind the door. Their plan was to kill him in an instant. When he came out, one of the comrades suddenly attacked him with a knife, but he stopped him by his hand very firmly. He already knew that someone was hiding there. He broke his elbow, then stabbed him using his own hand. Slicked Back Hair and his companions looked at him with a surprised look, because he didn't think that the protagonist could be that fast to stop a sudden attack. Then the gold digger freed her hand from Slicked Back Hair's hands. She ran towards him screaming for help, but before she could touch him, he grabbed her neck tightly. She also transformed into that monster state. He told all of them, once a human eats the flesh of another human, they can turn into a monster. They were no longer human from now on, but it didn't matter for Slicked Back Hair. He just wanted to survive at any cost. The gold digger also shared her opinion that the flesh was so delicious, and she got more strength than before, and she couldn't wait to taste his flavor. She freed her neck somehow and attacked him with her sharp nails, but he kicked her before her hand could reach him. She flew in the air and directly out from the building, but somehow she managed to grab the edge of the building with her hands. In a rage of revenge, she shouted that she wouldn't let him off that easily, and the next moment, she felt too much heat outside, so she couldn't hold on any longer and fell off from the building. When he kicked her out of the building, Slicked Back Hair ordered his remaining members to attack him before he drew his gun. Slicked Back Hair was just afraid of his gun. He thought without a gun, he couldn't do anything, and they could easily kill him. Well, he didn't want to waste his bullets on them, but he liked to use a gun. One comrade approached him in front of him, so he shot his head instantly. Fear of a gun, Slicked Back Hair ordered them to spread out. Their reaction and speed increased. They wanted to ambush him from 3 sides. Then he quickly jumped and grabbed the companion's head. He hit his head strongly on the ground. Then he died instantly. Another companion wanted to hit him with a knife. He grabbed his hand and killed 2 companions at the same time in one slash. When all his companions died, he attacked the protagonist from behind, but his speed was insane. He quickly turned back, grabbed his neck tightly, and hit him against the wall. Then suddenly he saw a drought demon coming from the outside. She looked like him, just like the gold digger. He was amazed that she turned into a drought demon that quickly. Thanks for watching my video. Please don't forget to like and subscribe.